Today we're going to be looking at how the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro handles GameCube emulation compared to the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus. Once again, with all these comparisons, it is like for like, same emulators, same settings. And for this comparison, we are using Dolphin Handheld, which is my favorite emulator for handheld consoles and GameCube. And we will be running at 0.7 resolution, a resolution that I think works really well on handheld devices for GameCube games. First off, we have Mario Kart. And to be honest, there's not a huge difference here, but that's because the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus already handled Mario Kart pretty well. It goes down to around about 55 on the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, and the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro does hold much closer to a consistent 60 frames per second, with the occasional dip down to around about 57. So it is definitely better on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, but like I say, to start with, we already had a good baseline with the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus anyway. Small differences aside, the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro is handling Double Dash really well. Next up is NBA Street Volume 2, and this is a different story. The Retroid Pocket 3 Plus did struggle with this game, keeping it around about 30 FPS and maybe jumping up to around about 50-55 at most on occasions. Whereas the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro handles NBA Street Volume 2 with absolute ease, again consistently keeping 60 frames per second, occasional dips down to maybe 56, but you can hardly notice it in a game that runs really smoothly and is an absolute pleasure to play on the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. A good early sign for how well the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro handles GameCube emulation and how much of an improvement it is over the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus. Because in all our previous comparisons, NBA Street Volume 2 was one of the harder games to emulate. Next up is Mario Sunshine, and this game is intended to run at 30 FPS. And as you can see, the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus already did a pretty good job of handling this game, but the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro is just that little bit better. That means that it handles certain moments where the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus would drop down to around about 15 frames per second. The Retroid Pocket 4 Pro is not having those issues and gives you a much smoother, cleaner, and more enjoyable experience when you're running around as Mario and jumping into that water in the sunshine. Extreme G3 is one of my favourite games on the system, and a game that needs to be fast considering you go in at the speed of sound in some levels. And the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro doesn't smash out a consistent 60 frames per second with this game, but it does manage to hold around about 10 frames per second over the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, which does make for a significant difference when playing and experiencing this game. And that's something to be noted, the consistent improvement over the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus. There are a lot of settings that I will tinker to get the most out of the system, because with these comparisons I run everything pretty much stock. But it's good to see that the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro already has a significant baseline over the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus. Next up is Simpsons Hit and Run, and once again the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro manages to bang out a very solid 60 FPS for most of this game. There are occasions where it'll jump down to around about 51, but again it's a solid improvement over the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus. The Retroid Pocket 3 Plus did run this game pretty well, but I would say it was pushing it trying to reach those 60 FPS and keeping more around about the 45 and 50, whereas the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro does a much better job at keeping closer to that natural 60 frames per second. Numbers aside though, what I will say is that the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro just feels so much nicer and better playing GameCube games, and the same can be said for PlayStation 2, which you can see in this video right here.